Councillor Locker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As has been touched on, one of the problems is filling the vacancies with school crossing officers. So would the leader agree with me that if schools took a greater responsibility in managing these roles, perhaps by combining them with other support functions in the school, or encouraging parents to volunteer, we'd have a better chance of filling these vacancies, which is something surely all of us would support?
I thank Councillor Locker for his supplementary. And he's absolutely right. I mean, schools actually can go beyond that, in fact. They can encourage parents to become more involved in not only conveying their own children safely to school, but also taking a role in helping other people's children across the roads. This is not, I think the responsibility of children, for children in our society, cannot be sort of stopped when the children leave home and the schools say they only take on that responsibility when they cross the gate. The responsibility is across the whole society, and I think everyone has a role to play. I don't think it is right for us to say, when my kid lives home, somebody else should take care of him.
Councillor Sutters.
Question number 5 to the leader.
Thank Councillor Sutters for her question. I am hugely delighted that governing bodies at Graney and Belleville have taken this important decision. Actually, what also I am looking forward to is the whole host of other schools which will be able to take on this step, because they are good performers, they have good support, and I look forward to well over 40-odd schools in the borough who qualified for academy status to pursue that route.
Supplemental, Mr. Mayor. Doesn't this move show the government's reforms stand a real chance of improving educational outcomes for the children of Wandsworth?
I wholly agree with Councillor Sutters on that, but not only does it actually improve the choices and standards for children, but it also binds parents into a closer relationship with what they want for their children and actually determining the outcomes they want for their children.
Supplementary.
Dawson.
Sorry, my apologies. Would the leader agree with me that the decision by the governing bodies of Belleville and Graveney, and before that at Chestnut Grove, demonstrate that the various groups opposing such moves, such as the Anti-Academy League and some of their unions, are totally out of touch with the aspirations and desires of many of the parents and residents of this borough who seek greater choice and diversity in the provision of education?
Councillor Dawson's absolutely right. They have put their flags up against parental choice. They have put their flags up against choice in education for children, and they have actually also put their flags against aspiration. And I have to say that they, in fact, will be damaging our children's chances of future, and they ought to be aware that they need to take responsibility for damaging our children's future chances.
Councillor Hogg.
Question 6 of the leader.
Thank Councillor Hogg for his question. Over many years, Council has taken a business-friendly approach to dealing with businesses, and of course business-friendly approach not only means new businesses, as the answer shows, but new businesses also means there are jobs that they create. Actually, earlier today I went to development in Wandsworth town, where I was told that 87% of offices were filled and that they have created 220 jobs in this borough. Job creation in this borough has happened because this council has taken an active step in doing it, as it is indeed going to do in Nine Elms, where we are hoping that in course of time, well over 25,000 new jobs will be created. Skill provisions and employment support and all of those things are functions of other agencies, but as I said earlier, yesterday to somebody, that if we get it right, young people in our borough could train today in something like, let's say, as an electrician, and could in Nine Elms find the entirety of their employing life working, installing, maintaining and servicing. Those are opportunities on our doorstep, and they are available provided our young people are motivated enough and those who support them push them in that direction. B, the net changes in workless benefit claimants during this period was an increase. Oh, I won't read that. You can read that yourself in this whole stuff. But basically what it says is the way you interpreted the question of 70% in our 7 poorest wards is in fact not right. C, according to the official statistics, the economic activity rate for people between 50 and 64 during this period fell from 80.4 to 62.41. Well, you know what I mean.
Supplementary, Madam Mayor. Thank you. I apologise for the inaccuracy in my question, but I think the answers are pretty shocking in themselves. I mean, almost a quarter of older people dropping out the workforce over the last few years and probably dropping out forever. But I think this is about the link between jobs and housing. I have sympathy with giving local people with roots in their community priority in housing, but I think the issue with the leader's plan to link employment with social housing provision is we really have to make sure giving people, the existing population, the skills they need to pick up these new jobs and creating the jobs is absolutely a core priority of the Council. And I think that the paper we've seen shows that the reaction so far to the recession has been poor. And I've got to say this Wandsworth Employment and Skills Partnership paper we saw was really very, very weak. It had a particularly dark joke in it. I don't know if
Do we have a question, please?
10 seconds? Which said that the Council's answer to give people in social housing, to raise employment in social housing, was to only give social housing to people with jobs, which I think is a particularly dark joke. Will the leader make employment a key priority for this Council?
Well, everything is a priority for this borough to make sure that our people have the opportunities and the freedoms that they want. What is interesting in Councillor Hogg's speech and a short question is that he was trying to justify his group's wriggle over the announcement that we would like to give employed people some chance of getting social housing. Because they couldn't wriggle out of them, because their leader shot their fox, he now says, oh, well, no, let's not talk about that. Let's now talk about jobs. How are you going to get jobs for people? Of course, getting jobs for people in our borough hasn't been a priority for the Council. And as the answer said earlier, the job creation goes hand in hand with business creation. And the business community in this borough has played an incredible role in providing jobs for our local people. I think, in passing, I read sort of some of the stats that have come out today on employment figures, and they don't actually bear out what Councillor Hogg was asserting.
Councillor Ravi.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Does the leader welcome the incipient decline in youth unemployment since Labour lost office, and does he think this will have a positive impact for Wandsworth?
And thank Councillor Ravi for the supplementary. This is a very young borough. I mean, I can't give you the absolute statistics, but a large number of our residents are young people. They are well qualified people. They are also people largely in employment and flitting between employment and flitting between jobs, but always in employment. We also have a core of young people who have never found work or are finding it difficult to sustain work. The Council needs to work and has worked actively to ensure that they can get the skills they need, get the support they need to get a job and keep a job. And yes, I think this Council and the borough offers opportunities for young people, and it's up to them, but of course it's also up to us to support them take those opportunities.
The time for questions to the leader is now over.